At the beginning of time, in the dream time, there were no contrasts and the world was completely flat. Then some creatures who were half man, half animal emerged from the earth. These beings, our ancestors, moved around and hunted and fought, and in doing so, they modeled the earth. They created the contrasts in the landscape. They created the rivers and the plains, the trees and the dunes, the animals and the plants. They created water, air, and fire. Exhausted by all of their activities, they then returned into the earth. Sometimes, the spirits transform themselves into a rock, a tree, or other parts of the landscape. When this happens, they become sacred places, which only the men and the women who have been initiated have the right to see.
Tommy has explained to me that when the women of Beswick go to collect the leaves from the pandana trees, they never return to the same tree twice in 1 year. This is because it's important to give the tree some time to regenerate. In order to colour the fibres, they dig out the roots of a shrub to make a yellow dye, and the roots of an onion to make a red dye. When they mix these two, they can obtain a large spectrum of colours that are 100% natural.
We do not own the land owns us. The earth is our mother, the starting point where it all began. Dig up a little bit of the earth, and you will see that it represents where we came from and where we are destined to end. The earth is our food, our soul, our spirit, our identity. We have no borders, no enclosures, no property rights. We belong to the earth. She is our spiritual world.
I met Janet in an art gallery that I wandered into in Darwin. Aboriginal art has been increasing in popularity and is really about to explode on the art scene.
I have people coming in and they ask me what's the story is about and what's the painting is about, and I tell them what the story is. My mom paints, and my two aunties and my uncle paints, and my grandmothers as well, and my brother Malcolm paints, and my sisters as well, and myself, and my daughter as well. My two aunties, they're the ones that taught me, and they gave me all the stories and designs, and they took me to my grandfather's and great-grandfather's site, and they told me, the story of this one. And because it's really important, and they're the ones that have the knowledge to pass on the stories and the dreamings. My father's dreaming is serpent snake, and I also paint fire and lightning and thunder, different animals as well too. They're the totems of my fathers and my aunties. And I also paint my grandfathers, my mom's dad, because I am the custodian for my mom's and my grandfathers.
Of all the artists that we have, Janet is the most popular, and her paintings go all over the world. Not only to Australians, but they go to Europe and America. With Aboriginal artists, their stories are handed down through initiation ceremonies or age grading ceremonies. They cannot just paint any stories. They can only paint the stories that they own. The Aboriginal people, once they have their money, they share it with the rest of their family.
Janet's mother's song tells the story of the painting, which is about the history of her clan. Every time the Aborigines express themselves, either through their art or through their language, I can sense all the richness and the strength of their culture, and the pride that the older members feel towards it.
I teach my daughters and nieces to paint too, because it's really important. They have to, learn about our culture. Yeah, it's important for our kids to learn both ways, our language and English as well too.